of this seminar is to basically teach you how to create and deploy your own algorithmic trading strategy. I want you to be able to define what an algorithmic trading strategy actually is, and I want you to understand why you should care at all. You know, I'm going to show my personal trading account in this tab here. For those of you who are active traders, you'd recognize this UI as Robinhood. And you can see my portfolio's percent gain since I started. Started with around a little over $10,000, and now it's a little over $60,000. And this is the Robinhood UI, and this is not like a weird, strange app no one's heard of. This is my actual percent gain, and I was able to make this much money in the stock market because I learned how to be a data-driven, algorithmic trader and investor. And this is not my only account too. I have other accounts which are also highly profitable. For example, this is my public account. You can see my percent gain on my public account where I do long-term investments. This is a brand new account. So my goal for you is for you guys to be able to deploy your own algorithmic trading strategies and make smarter, data-driven investing decisions. So to introduce myself, my name is Austin Starks. I have a bachelor's in computational biology from Cornell University and a master's in software engineering from Carnegie Mellon University. I'm an options trader primarily, a long-term investor, and I created Nexus Trade, which is the world's only AI-powered algorithmic trading platform. And by the end of this seminar, you should know exactly what those words mean. And so this is just a little screenshots from U.S. News and World Report. This is Cornell University, where I got my undergraduate. In the right-hand side, you see Carnegie Mellon University. You can see Carnegie Mellon is number 2 in computer science, is number 1 in artificial intelligence, and is also number 1 in software engineering. And that is where I got my master's in software engineering. That's how I was able to build the entirety of the Nexus Trade platform by myself. So the big thing that if about anything, if you don't learn anything else, I really want you to understand this right here. What is algorithmic trading? When a normal person trades, they basically open an app, they look at the stock they want to buy, they click the buy button, and they execute trades. Algorithmic trading is a lot different. It refers to using computer algorithms to execute trades for you. So instead of going on the app and clicking buy, you're going to go on an app and you're going to literally define the trading rules for executing trades. And why would you want to do this? Because if you have rules, like concrete rules for buying and selling stocks, then you can test how these rules have performed over time. How did these rules perform last year? How did these rules perform when a Republican is in office versus when a Democrat is in office? How did these rules perform during the COVID-19 pandemic? Or how did they perform over the last 20 years? If you are able to concretely define trading rules, you're able to test out your trading strategies. So you're not gambling. You're basically you have an actual data-driven approach to the market. So that's all it is. There are some related terms that you might hear for algorithmic trading. For example, you might hear some people say high-frequency trading, and that's basically algorithmic trading that happens super fast. You're executing trades at lightning fast speeds, like below the 1 second interval, like that millisecond, even nanosecond interval. Most retail investors and retail traders aren't deploying high frequency trading strategies. That's mostly for the big quants that, the people making, $500,000 a year trading on Wall Street. But now, because of AI, it is a lot easier for the average retail investor to deploy their own regular algorithmic trading strategy. Another term you might hear is called automated investing, and that's basically the same thing as algorithmic trading. investing usually refers to timelines of greater than 1 year, and trading refers to timelines of less than 1 year. But the distinction is very weak. They're essentially the same thing. And so now we're going to do a live demo of how easy it is for you to create, test, and deploy your own algorithmic trading strategy. If you're just now joining, I'm sending a link in the Google Meet chat where you guys can follow along, because watching me do it, you're not gonna learn all that much. What you really need to do is follow along. The app is free. If you don't already have an account, all you need is an email address. So, without further ado, I'm going to share this tab here and go over, this UI right here. When you create an account, you'll see this page right here. Again, if you just joined, we are doing a live demo of how easy it is to create your own algorithmic trading strategy. So the first thing you'll see is this page right here. Right here you'll see the step one is just choosing an investment strategy. I basically created this library of popular trading strategies so that people don't have to do the work of creating their strategies themselves. I'm going to go through some of the most popular strategies on this list. So the very first strategy here is it's a buy and hold strategy. And so you can see right here, you'll see there's lots of information on this page. I'm going to break it down. It looks intimidating, but it's really not as intimidating as it might seem at first glance. So the first thing we're seeing right here is this is a graph. And more specifically, this is a graph of how this strategy has performed. And across what time interval? Right now, this is across the past year. This is the August 3rd to 2024 to August 3rd, 2025. And this, if I wanted to see across the past 5 years, I can just change the start date. I can click run, and then it's going to run a simulation of what this strategy has done over the past 5 years. And how does it know what's happening? Is this rule right here. It's basically spending 100% of your portfolio's buying power in this one stock. That's the strategy. That's the simplest strategy ever. If you have a financial advisor, they probably have shared this strategy with you. It's literally just called buy and hold. There are no selling rules. It's literally just buy and hold. And across the 5 years, if you had ran this strategy, you would have turned $10,000 into $23,000. You would have gained 131%. And this is just across the past 5 years. Compare this to holding it in a savings account or other types of investments. You would have turned $10,000 into just $10,000. So that's why you want to learn how to invest. You can have doubled your money in 5 years, really not doing anything at all. It literally is just buying and holding. Now, this is the simplest strategy, which is why I'm showing it. But of course, there are much, much more complicated strategies. I'm just trying to decrease the complexity as much as I can. But here is another example of a trading strategy. Let's say you're more risk averse and you don't want to buy everything right now. Maybe you're concerned about the economy. Maybe you're concerned that the stock market is going to fall soon. This is a different type of strategy. What it does is, so let's scroll down to the rules. Again, this is the backtest across the past year. And what it is it essentially buys 5% of your portfolio value in this one stock. It's the same stock as this stock. It's called VU. It's the S&P 500. It buys 5% of the portfolio in this one stock every 14 days. So instead of buying everything all at once, it's spacing out the buys to buy every 14 days. And you can see that there's actually two lines here. The green line is the strategy's performance, and this gray line is literally is this exact strategy. You can notice on this graph there's only one line. That's because this is the buy and hold strategy. That is like the baseline strategy. If you know, that is literally the easiest strategy ever. So if you're running rules and it's worse than this gray line, that sort of tells you that you might not want to run that strategy. You can earn more money doing a lot less work. And then I'm going to go through some of these statistics. Again, you don't have to worry too much about what they mean, but they basically help you determine whether the strategy is good or not. So this strategy, which in the industry we call dollar cost averaging, it earned 9% in the past 1 year, compared to just holding SPY, it earned 18%. The drawdown is basically from the highest point in the graph to the lowest point in the graph. What is the percent change from the highest point to the lowest point? And the maximum drawdown 17%. That means you can expect to lose 16.5% of your portfolio if you hold from the highest point to the lowest point. And these statistics are really helpful because it's like, depending on where you are in life, maybe you can't afford to lose 16.5% of your portfolio. Maybe that's too much risk and too much volatility. Maybe you want to run a safer strategy that's less risky. These statistics essentially just help you determine whether or not a strategy is right for you. Now I'm going to go over two more strategies. So this strategy right here. So if you are an investor, if you watch CNBC, you'll hear them always say the Magnificent Seven. And that stocks like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, and Tesla. And you can see that so this, again, when we scroll down, we can see this strategy, essentially what it does is it rebalances between these 7 stocks at equal weights every 14 days. So that's the strategy. It's basically rebalancing between those 7 stocks that I mentioned every 14 days so that there are equal weights in your portfolio. And you can see in this one, the green line is a lot higher than the gray line. It earned 33% versus the gray line 17%. It has a higher Sharpe ratio, which suggests that it's a little bit less risky for the returns it generates. But it also has a very high maximum drawdown. So from the peak, from the top point up here on December 24th to the bottom point right here, this portfolio lost 31% of its portfolio value, which is a lot more than SPY, which only lost 20%. So this helps you kind of determine pros and cons. Can you afford to lose 31% of your portfolio value from top to bottom? That's just something you and maybe your financial advisor has to ask yourself. But in the end result, over the past year, this strategy was much, much more profitable and at a higher risk adjusted returns. And just like before, we can change the start date and the end date. So let's say we wanted to say, how well did this strategy perform from 2024 to beginning of 2025, 2025. What this is going to do is it's going to run these rules, and every 14 days it's going to rebalance them at equal weights. You can see during this time period it did much, much better. It has a better percent change, a better Sharpe ratio, so better risk adjusted returns, another measure of risk adjusted returns, but it's still a lot more drawdown, a lot more risky from top to bottom. So you have to determine, can you stomach that type of risk for yourself? And so those are just some of them. Again, there's lots of different strategies you can choose from. If you're interested in cryptocurrencies, maybe you want to invest in Bitcoin. If you don't think the market is good, maybe you want to do this strategy, which basically bets that the overall stock market will go down. And there's also what we call community portfolios. So these portfolios are portfolios that other people have shared uh, willingly. Many of them are completely free. Like, for example, Michael's portfolio right here, it earned 32%, and it has a very, very small drawdown, and it's completely free. So you could decide you wanted this portfolio, you know. But there's also other portfolios. The best portfolio is this one that I deployed called the Neckbeard Index, which is kind of a joke. If you know anything about Reddit stereotypes, it essentially buys this collection of stocks that are that aligns with stereotypical neckbeards. So it included stocks like AMD, Amazon, GameStop, Robinhood, Nvidia, and Reddit. And this portfolio is doing amazing. This is up 75% since being deployed, which is outstanding. You know, this it was deployed for, I think it's around a little bit over 1 year. You know, it over up 86% in the 1 year. Again, this is outstanding for any type of portfolio. You know, there's other portfolios. You know, there's some that trades TQQQ. There's this mean reversion strategy. Basically, you know, if you're a beginner, you might want to start out with one of these. If you're more advanced, you can look into some of these portfolios that other people have shared. And the difference between this and this is these are not back testing returns. This is someone has deployed this strategy a year ago, and this is how much it has returned since. And if you're super advanced, you can create a trading strategy from scratch with AI. I won't go over this right now, but I might in the Q&A if someone is interested. So let's go back to a simple strategy. Let's do Magnificent 7, and let's go ahead and create a trading strategy. So once you've decided to pick your strategy, what you're going to do is at the very top, you're going to click Create a New Paper Trading Portfolio. You're going to give it a name, any name you want. I'm going to name it Seminar 2, you know, and this is paper trading. So this is basically a simulation of how the strategy will perform. So these values can be whatever you want. You can put it $1,000, $100, $1,000, $10,000. I recommend that this value be however much you're going to actually want to deploy. So I'm going to put $10,000. I'm going to click create. It's going to say, are you sure you want to create this strategy? I'm going to say yes. And then that's it. I just created my first algorithmic trading strategy. And on Monday morning, it's going to execute trades for me on my behalf. That was it. That's all of the complexity for deploying your first algorithmic trading strategy. Now, once you are ready to actually trade with your real money, you can connect with a brokerage. And right now, Nexus Trade supports two brokerages. It supports TradeStation and Alpaca. And so once you create the strategy, it's automatically going to navigate to step 2. And this is how you can connect the brokerage. If what you're going to do is you're going to click Connect TradeStation, and it's going to have this modal pop up. If you have a TradeStation account, you're going to click Yes, I have an account. If you don't have an account, you'll click No, I need an account. And when you click that, it will automatically redirect you to this page. You're going to click Sign Up, and it will automatically have this referral code. And guys, this is why I'm able to make Nexus Trade free. It's because TradeStation partners with me. People that sign up with my referral code gives me a very small bonus and allows me to keep working on Nexus Trade for free. So if you do not have a TradeStation account, I really urge you to create one. It helps me a lot, and it allows me to continue working on Nexus Trade. I'm gonna send this link in the chat as well. But again, you can just click that button where it says, no, I don't have an account, and it's automatically going to redirect you to that page. So once you create the TradeStation account, you're going to click I've created my TradeStation account. You're going to scroll down. You're going to say, you're going to read these disclaimers, and then you're going to say, I understand and agree, I understand and accept, and it's going to redirect you to your login for TradeStation. Just put in your login, click connect, and it's automatically going to connect your TradeStation account with your Nexus Trade account. So what does that mean? That means once you've done that and you want to go back and create another strategy, let's say I want to deploy a different strategy. Let's say I want to deploy this strategy which buys Bitcoin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here. It's going to have live trading in parentheses. It's going to say, if you do TradeStation, it'll say TradeStation. If you do Alpaca, it'll say Alpaca Portfolio Live Trading. You're going to click it, and then you're just going to click, one of these buttons, replace portfolio strategies. You're going to say yes, and now you've successfully added those trading strategies to your live trading portfolio. So when you go to your portfolio, you just go to click portfolios up here, click view portfolio. You're going to see that the rules are in that portfolio, and that's really it. And again, guys, that's really all of the complexity. When you wake up Monday morning, it's automatically going to run this strategy for you. Now, with a paper trading portfolio, with one of these paper trading portfolios, these are fully automated. So what does that mean? That means you don't have to do any work. It's going to execute all the trades for you on your behalf when the market opens. But for live trading, it's a little bit different. So with live trading, it's going to send you an email with the order that you executed. It's going to look something like this. It's going to say, it's going to say something like, action required, please confirm your order. And you're going to click, it's going to have this button here, view in portfolio. It's automatically going to redirect you. There's going to be a giant modal, and if you want to execute the trade, you just click confirm, and again, that's it. And I know I'm going through a lot. This is a lot of information, but if you were to compare this to what it was 10 years ago, the difference is like night and day. 10 years ago, there was no platform where you could automatically test out these different trading rules. There was no platform where you could just literally click a button and deploy your trading strategy. You had to know Python and Java and maybe C++ and connect with different APIs and, partner with data vendors. It was so much more work, and now all you really have to do is click a couple of buttons, and that's really it. And so if you're interested in learning more, you want to say, okay, I want to actually understand, what's the difference between this strategy and this strategy, or I want to understand how do I create my own strategy from scratch with AI. How do I start learning all this and actually be a data-driven investor? Nexus Trade has these tutorials. So once you go to complete the onboarding, it's at the last step, it's gonna have 2 very simple tutorials. I've already completed them, of course, so I can't demonstrate that. But once you're done, when you click I complete all tutorials, it's going to redirect you to this tutorials page. Again, I'll send it in the Google Meet, and it is a list of currently 57 different tutorials that teach you step by step how to learn some of these concepts. So when you click, start tutorial, it's literally going to go through the process step by step telling you what these things actually mean. And you just follow the tutorial in the chat, and it will tell you when you're done. So it says, for example, create RSI indicator. That's what the AI is telling me to do. So I'm just going to click submit, create RSI indicator. It's going to take a minute. The AI is thinking about what I'm talking about. It's trying to direct the request correctly. And it says, okay, I need to do the following. I need to pick an asset. I need to pick a window length. I'm going to say SPY 14 days. It gives examples. So it's basically walking you the process of how to create your own custom indicator. You'll know you finished it because this modal popped up. You see this confetti. You completed the tutorial. And also you got a little bit more research tokens for completing that tutorial. That was a lot of information. I've talked for 30 minutes straight, but again, that's it. So now at the very least, now you can define what is an algorithmic trading strategy. Why do you care? And how can you create your own? How can you create your own simple strategy, or how to create some of your more advanced strategies? That's all I have prepared. I'm going to leave the rest of the 30 minutes for questions. But guys, thank you for your attention and thank you for the turnout. This is a lot of people, so thank you. I see some thumbs up. Thank you, Julian. Any questions at all? Any questions whatsoever? What platforms can you connect to? So, Linda, that is a great question. Right now, right at this, as of today, August 3rd, I support two different brokerages. We support Alpaca and we support TradeStation. Before the end of this month, we'll also support Tradier, and before the end of next month, we'll also support Public. But no, right now, we don't have any plans in the roadmap to support Interactive Brokerage, IBKR, and that's mostly just because their API is fairly complex. If there's a lot of interest in Interactive Brokerage, if, let's say like half a dozen premium users are all agreeing that they want Interactive Brokerage to be supported, then I'll add that to the roadmap. Absolutely. I listen, I have a Discord channel. I'll send the link of it in the Google Meet. And the people ask me questions and feature requests all the time, and I get to it. I am what's called a solopreneur. I'm an entrepreneur who's doing all of this myself. I created this entire app from scratch by myself. I didn't outsource it. I don't have a team of developers. It was literally just me making this because I was passionate about algorithmic trading, and I started when I was getting my master's. And I basically just worked on it independently ever since for the past 4 years. So I say all that to say is, I don't have a team of developers helping me out with this. But if there is interest in Interactive Brokerage and you can get a couple other users to agree that this is super important, then absolutely I'm happy to work on that. And thank you for the question, Linda. Are there any other questions? So I am a software dev. Any advantage for me to using Nexus Trade over implementing it myself? That is an excellent question. And I'm going to answer this by sharing my screen and going to this tab. So if you go to my GitHub page, you can see that I actually have a version of this that is completely open source. It's called Nexus Trade. And there are a lot of differences between Nexus Trade and Nexus Trade. The primary difference being that Nexus Trade is a lot faster, a lot more configurable, and it integrates with AI. But you can see like the code I wrote for the first version of this platform. You can see all of it. The main difference between implementing everything yourself and using Nexus Trade is implementing everything yourself is a lot of work. I mean, I've worked on this for over 4 years. You have to, You have to figure out which data provider. I personally use EOD You have to connect with the APIs. You have to store the data in a database. You have to write all the code. You have to test all the code. And you're going to be spending the next 1 to 2 years simply implementing the platform, as opposed to if you were to use Nexus Trade, you could have spent those past 1 to 2 years simply creating, testing, and deploying your own trading strategies. Nexus Trade is free. There are premium tiers, but the free tier includes all of the major features. You can connect with Alpaca and TradeStation. You can create a paper trading portfolio. You can share your portfolio. You can actually earn passive income for your portfolio. So if you want to go to one of your portfolios, that you like, you can click the share icon, and people can subscribe to your portfolio. You will get $29.99 per month per person that subscribes to your portfolio. So you can implement everything yourself, absolutely, or you can spend those 1 to 2 years creating your own trading strategies. Thank you very, very much for that question. That is an excellent question. Any other questions, you can either type it in the chat or you can unmute. Either way, we have 25 minutes left, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. This time is really for you guys. I know algorithmic trading is pretty hard. It's like lots of buzzwords, lots of jargon, very confusing. My recommendation for you is you to create a Nexus Trade account and then just follow the tutorials like I just did. Try to learn these different rules, see what the difference is. Go on Google or ask the AI chat. You can go to the AI chat and say, okay, what does Sharpe ratio mean? And it will tell you the answers. You have to do a little bit of work yourself, but I promise it's a lot easier than implementing everything yourself from scratch. Can we use this online with TradingView, or we won't need TradingView if we have this? You won't need TradingView if you have this. TradingView's philosophy is a little bit different than mine. So with TradingView, you're basically looking at charts all day, trying to spot patterns with your eyes that honestly may or may not actually exist. With Nexus Trade, you don't look at charts all day. You're creating your own trading strategies. You're testing those strategies, and you can deploy it without risking any actual money. So I don't know about you, but I have things I have to do every day. I work on Nexus Trade. At some points I was working a full-time job, so I can't look at charts all day. I think what's a lot better is if I could just deploy the strategies and then that's it. I can go about my day doing everything else. So one of the things that I want to show you guys actually, which is very important, is not only can you create trading strategies using natural language, but one of the things you can do that's super important is you can actually use Nexus Trade to find different stocks. So for example, during the last seminar, someone asked me, can I look through stocks in the S&P 500 that have certain characteristics, like they have a relative strength index below a certain number? And you absolutely can. You literally just ask the question in natural language. What stocks in the S&P 500 have a relative strength index below 30? Don't know what relative strength index means? Go to those tutorials that I showed you, and there is literally a tutorial that teaches you that step by step. But you can ask the questions in natural language, and it's going to give you an accurate answer. It's telling you literally the last day the prices were and what the RSIs are. Ask ChatGPT the same question. You're not going to get an accurate answer. It doesn't know the answer because you need a purpose-built AI to answer questions like that. Ty, you asked, how does taxes work? Will you receive a 1099? Yes, you will. You will receive it through TradeStation or Alpaca. Nexus Trade just connects with those brokerages, but it's not a brokerage itself. So you'll receive your 1099, your tax information through those brokerages. Jonathan, you asked, what is in the research menu and how does it work to use those features? Jonathan, this is an excellent question. Thank you for bringing that up. So in the research menu, so Nexus Trade, I'm really trying to show all of the super core features on Nexus Trade, but Nexus Trade is fully featured with other amazing features. So in the research menu, you'll see four different things. You'll see we have a screener. We see we have this thing that says reports. We have chat insights and deep dives. Screener allows you to screen for stocks. Let's say I want to. So what are the biggest AI stocks right now? You literally just click artificial intelligence in screener, and it should tell you a list. Right now, it looks like let's see. This is all the biggest stocks. You can see looks like there's a small bug, but you can see all the stocks sorted by their market cap. Sorted by their closing price. You can basically just see all of the stocks in the different industries that you're interested in. Let's say you want to find the stocks that have the highest total revenue. You should be able to see all those stocks, but it looks like there might be a small bug I have to fix later on. That's my fault. But yeah, you can basically see all the stocks that have the criteria that you're interested in. The next menu here, we have reports. And this is actually one of my favorite things. I'm going to send this in the chat directly. Essentially, I spent a few $100s and I took all the information for every stock. I took its revenue, its income, its cash flow, its PE ratio, and I gave all of that information to a language model. And I basically said, based on this objective fundamental information, what are some of the what would you rate this stock on a scale from 1 through 5? So these are essentially what AI evaluates these stocks to be. So you can see that 4.5, we have BlackRock. I think we've all heard of BlackRock. They buy the vast majority of everything, like housing, everything in the United States. We have a stock called Appian. We have a stock called Alarm. And you can sort through these stocks. So let's say, I want to say, how good is NVIDIA stock? You can just type in NVIDIA. It's going to search for it. And you can see that it had on a scale, from 1 to 5, NVIDIA is a 4.5. You can see what it was in 2023. You can see what it was in 2022. You can basically use this to just find fundamentally strong stocks that are earning money and growing every year. Now, there's more to a good stock than just its fundamentals, but if a stock has a really bad rating, let's say, if a stock has a rating of 1, and someone says, oh my God, you should buy this stock, it's going to blow up soon. If you see it is a rating of 1, you really, really want to be careful on buying the stock. That means their numbers just simply aren't that good, objectively. Maybe it could go up because it had great news. Maybe they discovered the cure for cancer, but they're just not profitable. That's possible. Just be very careful and do a lot of research. I'm quickly go through the last two. The insight. So when you go into AI chat, and you have a conversation with the AI chat, you're able to share your conversation with a buddy. You can share your trading strategy that you created with one of your friends. When you click this share, the 3 dots and share, all of your past shared chats are going to go in this chat insights thing, so you can kind of know what you shared in the past. And the last one are these deep dives. So basically, you type in a stock, and you can generate a report, a very comprehensive report on the stocks. It takes the earnings for the stocks, it takes the recent price movement, and all relevant news, and it generates this super comprehensive report. Here's an example of a report generated for Apple stock. And it generates this super comprehensive report about the stock, so you can understand, what's going on with Apple stock. How much money are they making? What's in the news for the. You scroll down, you can see comparison of Apple between Microsoft and Google and Meta. What's in the news for the stock. It's basically an extremely comprehensive report. And I've had people that work at some of the world's largest banks, including Scotiabank and UBS, look at these reports, and they told me this is as comprehensive as the reports they generate within their internal banking. So these are extremely comprehensive reports. Can I develop a strategy for cryptocurrencies? And what about obscure stock exchanges? Can I trade slash backtest non-USA stocks? And thanks for the Medium articles. Thank you for reading the Medium articles. I really, really appreciate that. So, can you develop a strategy for cryptocurrency? You absolutely can. Let me share this tab again. Click cancel. Let me go back to the library. And then I'm going to type in, I should be able to type in Bitcoin. And you can see that there's already pre-configured strategies that contain Bitcoin. There's one with Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's this one that slowly buys Bitcoin over time. And there's this one that just buys and holds Bitcoin. So yes, absolutely, we support all of the most popular cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Sheeb. Not obscure tiny cryptocurrencies. Not the meme coins you might hear about on TikTok. But if it's a popular cryptocurrency, yes, it's 100% supported. For obscure stock exchanges, it really depends. If it's an ADR, yes, it is supported. But if it's not an ADR, then probably not. But to know if it's supported, just type in the name of the stock. Let's say you want to say it's BABA supported. You'll see it's right here. And yes, Alibaba is supported. In my personal opinion, if you're wondering about my opinion on some of these stocks like cryptocurrencies, definitely check out my Medium articles and my TikTok page. But if it were up to me, I personally really like just Bitcoin. I don't mess with the other cryptocurrencies personally. I don't mess with Dogecoin or Sheeb or that stuff. I like Bitcoin and I like tech stocks. I like one of my favorite strategies. If you're just wondering, if you're asking me, like, okay, I'm kind of a beginner, but I want a strategy that's pretty good for the long term, with not that much work. I like this strategy right here, the one that invests in the Magnificent Seven. I love this strategy. It's worked for the past few decades, and if you literally search all these stocks, go to that research page I told you about, and go to reports and search all these stocks. All of these stocks are rated 4 or higher. Maybe Tesla might be a 3.5, but this strategy has performed well across the past few decades. It has a better risk-adjusted returns. It has a better higher returns. In my personal opinion, I really think the Magnificent Seven strategy is one of the best strategies for someone that wants a good strategy without doing a bunch of work. That's just my personal opinion. Thank you for all the questions, guys. We have 15 minutes, so please, if you have any other questions, just unmute or type it in the chat. If any other questions at all, I can do a demo of the AI chat. I can share other insights. Please unmute and ask away. I think is my personal strategy an option to follow. So I have many. So yes and no. Let me share this. I'm sharing this tab. Let me go to community, and if you scroll down to, let's see, where is it? Original. If you go here, original alpaca portfolio. This is my strategy. This is actually, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is a free strategy too. So this is great news. This is one of the strategies that I was running before I started really trying to trade options. You can see its performance since February of this year is up 16%. It is a little volatile. The drawdown is 31%. That is high. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. That is a high drawdown. But this is a pretty good return in the past 3 months. And you can copy it again. They're just clicking copy this portfolio, either copy trading or clone. So yes, you can copy one of my strategies. This is not my primary strategy because I am an options trader. I primarily trade options, and options aren't yet supported with the Nexus Trade platform. But I do share all my strategies. If you go to my Medium page and you were to go to my Medium profile, you'll see like all my articles. I write about my strategies very, very freely. I think in this in which article is it? Last year, let's see. I tested. In this article right here, I share my exact rules, how I created it, the step by step process, everything. I really try to be as transparent as possible. Julian, thank you very much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. In the trading space on TikTok and Instagram, lots of people they lie, they scam, they pretend like they have a secret AI bot that makes money while you sleep. I don't try to pretend anything. I really try to be as transparent as possible. I am no fortune teller. All my strategies tomorrow could reach zero tomorrow, and that's just life. You know, I am profitable now. I have no idea if I'll be profitable 5 years from now. I'm really trying to be as open. That's why I don't try to say buy this strategy, buy this, this trading strategy. I try to give you the tools to create your own strategies yourself. There's a saying you can feed a man fish and he'll eat for the day. My goal is to teach you how to fish so you can eat for the rest of your life. So yes, thank you for the kind words, Julian. Any other questions? We have 10 minutes, so please feel free. And a few people has just joined late. We are at the last 10 minutes of the session, and it's basically an open Q&A. So if you missed some parts of the beginning, you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. Where do we go to create and test our own strategy? Mike, that is an excellent question. So you will go when you go to your main dashboard, this is what you'll see. You can to create your own strategies from scratch, you can just click start chat with Aurora. And this is the UI for creating your own strategies. You can create your trading strategies using natural language. So let's say I want to say buy a strategy, create a strategy that rebalances between AMD, Nvidia, and Tesla, weighted by their market cap every month. You can literally just describe your trading strategy in natural language. Yes, please. Oh, sorry, I'm not even sharing the tab, am I? Share this tab. Yes. So let me go back. Start over. I didn't realize I wasn't sharing the tab. You will go to the dashboard. You can either click chat in the top right corner or just click start chat with Aurora. And then you can literally just type in your strategy. So I typed in create a strategy that rebalances between AMD, Nvidia, and Tesla, weighted by their market cap every month. And the AI will create this strategy for you. Let's say you don't want to weight it by the market cap. Let's say, okay, let's create a strategy. Let's do at equal weights every month. You can follow up with a different question. The AI is going to think about what you're talking about. It's going to understand that you want to create a trading strategy. And then it's going to create the trading strategy. And then once it creates it, it's going to automatically test it on the past. And you can see how well these strategies perform. So if you weight it by the market cap, this was 38% return with a 42% drawdown. But if you weight it at equal weights, it's a 31% return and about the same drawdown. You can literally describe whatever rules you want in natural language, and it's going to create it for you. And you can see the exact rules that are created. If you scroll down here, you can ask the AI to update the rules, or you can update it manually. You just click edit. This UI is a little bit cumbersome, which is why I tend to recommend people use the AI chat. But if you spend a few minutes studying the UI, you'll understand what these mean. Basically, what this is doing is rebalancing between these stocks at equal weight, and it's doing it every 30 days. So again, if you don't understand this UI, that is okay. This UI is very complex. Literally just ask the AI to create the strategies for you. That is a lot easier for most people. Can we ask it to for a long short strategy for Mag 7? So yes and no. So let's try it. Let's see what happens when you actually try to do that. Create a long short strategy for the Magnificent Seven. The thing is, it's only going. It's not. It well, the actions that are supported are buying stocks and selling stocks. Shorting a stock isn't an actual action that is supported. So it's probably like you can see, it's gonna ask you what exactly are you talking about. So you can say something. You can be more specific, or you can say, guess, do your best guess, whatever, and it's going to do its best guess. So maybe it's going to use inverse ETFs for shorting a stock. Maybe but it's not going to be. You can't actually short the stock. You're gonna have to use derivatives like SQQQ or other inverse ETFs for accomplishing the rules. Yeah, so there are limitations for sure, but if you're trying to do any standard buy rules, any standard sell rules, use any inverse ETFs, all of those will work just fine. If you have any questions about what is supported, you can try to ask them the AI, or just ask me in my Discord channel. But that is a great question, Mike. Any other questions from the group? And we can see the exact rules that were created, because I said, in real life you probably won't say just do your best guess, but you can see what rules were created. You can see it's basically doing some sort of, what is this? This is like a simple moving average strategy with RSI. Maybe you want to update the rules, be more specific, use inverse ETFs, but you can see the exact rules and make your own modifications to them. We have around 3 to 4 more minutes. So again, I'm very happy about the engagement here. All the questions I'm being asked. Any other questions at all, I'm happy to go over it. Some other quick features, just because we're here, is in Nexus Trade you can create a watch list. You might say, why do I care? I can create a watch list. I can create a watch list on Apple Stocks app. But with this watch list, and not it's not just a watch list. It also sends you automated daily emails about every stock in your watch list. So let me pull this up here. Here's an example. Nexus Trade News, exactly. Every day, you can configure it so it can be the default is every week. But if you go to your notification settings, you can change it to every day. But it will literally, all of the stocks that are in this watch list, every day it's going to send you what's happening in the news, and B, it's also going to send you what's happening with every stock in your watch list. You want to adjust the frequency, you can change. Mine is daily. By default is weekly, but you can change it to daily. You can turn it off entirely. But it's going to send every stock in your watch list to your inbox, so you don't have to waste time figuring out, what's happening with Google this week, what's happening with Amazon this week. You get all that stuff into your inbox every day automatically. Again, it's all 100% free. So that's just another feature of the platform. Guys, it looks like the questions we're mostly done with all the questions, and we're at time. So I want to thank you guys again for attending this seminar. Thank you for your engagement. Please, again, if you don't have a TradeStation account, please go through the onboarding, create an account with that referral code. It helps me a lot, and it helps me build more advanced features like options trading. I really, really appreciate you guys attending. This was my second seminar ever, and it was also fantastic. So thank you guys again, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.